Breaking news in the case of missing 21-year-old mom Bethany Decker.
Missing. Goes missing.
Vanishes. Sheriff's deputy puts out a marker to show what's been searched and where they still need to look. The team of Loudoun County deputies are trying to find any sign of Bethany Decker.
January 29th is the last day she was last seen.
They scour the wooded areas around her Ashburn apartment complex.
That's when school was starting and other things were going on.
She goes to Hawaii with her husband. She's living with another guy.
Authorities reportedly announced they have 2 persons of interest in the investigation.
She was hiding the boyfriend from the home.
We are taking your calls live out to Claudia in Nevada. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Nancy. I've been curious about this from the very beginning. During the time that the husband was home from Afghanistan, did he make any attempt to see his son, who was living 25 miles away with the grandmother?
What do we know about that, Rita Cosby?
I don't know if he actually saw the son, but I can tell you that when they went on vacation, remember they went away on vacation, they went away with her family. The family apparently says that there was nothing acrimonious, at least nothing apparent, that everything seemed normal, that they seemed to get along, and that's what makes this even more confusing.
To Patty in North Dakota. Hi, Patty.
Hi.
Hi, love. What's your question?
Well, I guess my question was kind of answered by the person before. I was wondering if Bethany's husband was the father of the 17-month-old baby.
David Lohr, it's my understanding that now we don't know if it's the husband's or the boyfriend's.
Well, the first baby, we believe, is the husband's. The second baby, we don't know whose baby that is. And in regard to the other question, whether he saw his kid, we know they went to a family reunion together the day before she went missing, so chances are he probably saw the child then.
So we've got the husband and the boyfriend, both with her the last day she's seen alive. Neither of them reporting her missing for over 3 weeks. Both of them being named persons of interest, not suspects. As it emerges, police do not know the paternity of her unborn child. To Bethany Marshall, joining us from LA, I'm just wondering how this paternity fits into this.
Well, it's a very important question because homicide is the second leading injury-related cause of death for pregnant women. And the reason for that is usually the father of the unborn baby is jealous of the unborn child or does not want to take up the financial responsibilities of fatherhood.
To Rita Cosby, what about the new search?
Yeah, they're checking, in fact, right around her area because, as you pointed out, they found that car. They found that Hyundai.
Wait. They're just now searching around her apartment? This
is actually, I'm told this is multiple times that they have done this, but a lot of this
so
is
it's not
forensic.
the first search.
Not
Good
the
to
first.
know.
Not the first. The one thing, Nancy, too, that we haven't talked about is also the boyfriend has a bit of a criminal record. He's got a couple things in his background.
Like what?
One of the things, he was prosecuted for identity fraud. One of the other things, DUI. Another one is destruction of property.
Identity fraud?
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got somebody tapped into her Facebook account pretending to be her?
I know. Very interesting coincidence.
Yeah, you know, I always say there's no coincidence in criminal law, but you got to give me something more than tinted windows or identity fraud for me to be, you know, really, that kind of underwhelms me, Rita, for a criminal record.
No, and I agree, but what is interesting, the one thing with destruction of property, it was a windshield front and back. And then also, keep in mind, this also ties in, again, he's just a person of interest, but also this controlling behavior. And again, we may be talking about a domestic case here.
Yeah, and windshield front and back sounds like a domestic incident, like a girlfriend or wife. Okay, again, let me reiterate, neither of them have been named a suspect in this case. So unleash your lawyers, Eleanor Odom, Richard Herman, Peter Odom. Richard Herman, the constitutional privileges only apply when you become an official target. Would you argue that once they're a person of interest, they are in fact a target?
Yeah, well, that's the reality of the situation, Nancy, and we need swift justice in this case to find this woman and exonerate these 2 men. And Nancy, both these men are fully cooperating with law enforcement. They both are.
No, that's actually not the scenario tonight. Isn't that right? Out to you, Rita? Aren't they saying now that they're not cooperating as fully as they'd like?
That's my impression. The other thing is, again, that their alibis are not matching. The fact that we know that information says that authorities have a lot of questions for both of these men.
Now, what was it you were saying, Herman?
Yeah, they're answering the questions and they're cooperating. I would advise them not to.
What about it, Peter?
Nancy, it's just such a remarkable case. You've got two men. Both of them have opportunity. Neither of them has an alibi. Both of them have strong motivations.
I've already said all that.
And there's just reasonable doubt all over the case, all over the place as regards both of these men. That's why the police have to start looking elsewhere. They have to.
Eleanor?
They have no choice.
You know, Nancy, why don't they take a polygraph? Why don't they step up and say, here's what I'm doing. I'm completely innocent. I have nothing to hide. But neither one of them has done that.
We are quickly switching gears. I want to tell you